Welcome to Impact Effect Podcast. I am fired up because we got Tracy Davison in the studio today, the Spit and Fire studio, where it is all about bringing the heat and the impact. So we're going to dive in today, and I'm just super excited to bring Tracy on the podcast. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Fired up. Let's go. Let's go. We were just having a good conversation, and my wife Kate was like, hit play. You guys got to get into it. So here we are. As always, we ask the same question to kick off Impact Effect Podcast. How do you define the word impact and show up in the world and provide positive impact today?
Yeah, I love that question. I think it comes down to helping people get what they want and making a difference in the lives of others. I mean, it's that simple. And looking at people, as someone you genuinely want to help in some way, and not as a transaction or, where you're not seeing dollar signs on their head.
True. I often would tell people new into sales or new into real estate, like, I can smell the commission breath.
That's good.
Right? Because it's like, I can see you chomping at the bits to ask them if they own a house or rent. And I'm just watching, and then it's like, and then here it comes,
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so important to you? Like, why'd you pick that for the definition?
Well, I mean, because I've been there. I've been that lonely leader at the top, feeling like I had to have all the answers and didn't, and just thought if I just work harder and longer hours, it'll all work out. And that's not how it goes at all. In my former life, I was a school administrator and went from being a high school Spanish teacher to leading a high school. And there was absolutely no training for that. And I remember when things changed for me, and really it was because I had totally failed my first year. I broke everything possible. And at the start of the second year, I contacted a friend and I'm like, I need help. I have no freaking idea what I'm doing here. Can you show me how you turned your school around? Because we had a failing school district is what we really had.
Wow.
And so just how quickly it changed, having someone who believed in me, number one, told me that he would help show me the way as a mentor, make a plan and work the plan, was a game changer. And all of a sudden I didn't feel so alone. And then that's when we started getting real traction and results in our school. That was actually phase one. But yeah.
Wow. Taking a failing school district. What a task to own. Mm-hmm. How was that? Like, obviously the first year one was tough and you were figuring it out, but like, you must have had some resilience in there.
Yeah.
So a lot of vulnerability, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely ate a lot of humble pie. Doesn't taste very good, I'll tell you that. But it was super personal to me because I have a younger brother who was a statistic in a neighboring school district. He was a high school dropout and went down the whole path of selling drugs, getting arrested, going to prison, and just watching that struggle and the impact it had on our family was really hard. And, that was my baby brother. So as I took this new role as the high school principal in this school district that was just limping along, like with a 56% graduation rate, I'm like,
56?
56. And no one was talking about it.
Whoa.
Like, no one cared.
Failing school, I would not think only a little over half. I would think like 60s or low 70s would be considered. Wow.
Yeah. So it was personal, it's like all these kids are someone else's little brother or son or child. And we're supposed to be the smart ones here to like get them to the finish line of graduation. And why aren't we doing that? So yeah, it was, and we did it after I got out of the way and got a good team around me. Then that's when we were able to move the needle and improve it to 89%. So
wow.
Yeah.
56 to 89.
Yeah.
Whew, that must have been some work.
It was, but you know what? It really wasn't that. You know what it comes down to? It comes down to people who are further ahead believing in people who aren't there yet, like helping them get what they want or need and leading with whichever one makes sense. Like you'd have the student who just wanted to be heard and just wanted someone to care about them. Well, that's where you need to start and then work on what they needed, which was that, yes, but also passing their classes, things like that.
True.
So
it's funny. It's like, and I see this in business and I see this in entrepreneurs. It's like someone will come to me and it's like, yes, we have a program over some months or whatnot, or they can come to an event next week or next month, but like they need to eat right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, let me just pour in what I can provide in this 15-minute conversation
Mm-hmm.
and go do one or two things to get you to that next level, to then be in a position
Mm-hmm.
to train you for the future and things like that. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because for a long time in my life, like I just skipped over that phase and I was just like, oh, it doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, I didn't even realize that they're not even thinking about 3 months. They're thinking about what they need now to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And when you're in that freak out mode and fear mode, it's hard to see clearly. Like I had a conversation with someone yesterday. She owns a law firm. Okay. And she is stuck at around $10,000 a month. And I said, well, what do you need to grow? And she said, well, I need more leads and I need to fix my website and I need to, and she listed all these things. And then she said, actually, what I really need, what it really comes down to is I need to increase my sales. So she was so scared and thought she needed to go to more networking groups and do, things when she's already got a great network to leverage. So,
So important.
yeah.
It's so important. I was doing a speech maybe a year ago and I went through my phone and I called it the 5 Alive. Scroll 5 times and then stop, and the next 5 text messages, someone in those 5 people can help you get what you need,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Exactly.
Right? And maybe if it's spam, like because we had someone, they're like, well, I got all these passwords. I'm like, not those 5 text messages, but like, just think of that, right? Because you've talked to them, you've engaged, they're in your network already.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and get all these things. Maybe you just need to position a referral differently,
Exactly.
or make an ask differently, or advise them of a new product or a new service. I think those micro changes are so important.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like, people are so likely to give up just before success. Like they're about to succeed. It's right around the corner, but they're ready to give up and throw the towel in. It's crazy. I was talking with one business owner, had no idea he was there, but he's like a $2 million home services company. He has 7 employees and seemingly doing well, but he's not paying himself anything. So he's got cash flow issues.
Yep.
Right. And he's the bottleneck for sales. So with just a couple clicks, just a couple micro changes, like you said, he just said to me the other day, he's like, my team is happier. My technicians are actually selling. They're not just going to fix the spring in the garage door. They're also looking around and upselling. So his sales went from like 180K one month to 194, just with a couple little changes. And he said, I got to tell you something. A couple months ago, I was ready to close the doors.
Wow.
Unreal.
Wow.
We need to be connected,
Yes. Yeah.
And like you said, it's who, there's someone in your network who can help you and they want to help you.
Why do you think people don't reach out for that help or don't speak honestly about their situation?
Well, I'm going to take part of the blame for that. Coming from the public education system, I think we teach kids in school to shut up and not ask questions. And I think that's part of our broken school system. Sorry. But so I think
I do not apologize for those opinions. Believe me, I'm in alignment with you.
I'm pro teacher, I'm pro education, but I'm also pro doing what works. And I think we've got a lot of room to fix things there. But yeah, I think people have learned not to ask for help. And I think there's a lot of shame and embarrassment. You start a business, you should be able to figure it out, right? You're a leader, you're a business owner. And so ego, pride, and shame get in the way, fear.
And it can cripple everything that comes after that stage too.
Yeah.
Right? So like if he closed up the doors,
yeah,
what's going to come the next 48 months, next,
Right.
24 months, next 2 years? Like what's going to come in that time period because of that result?
Yeah.
You can't even predict that. You can just assume.
Exactly.
But I can probably say that there's going to be some negative thoughts, knowing that we have, 48,000 on average negative thoughts a day. Those will probably increase. And yeah, I mean, I think you've got to get to that point where it's so bad that you ask for help from a lot of people. And I think the problem is if you just learned how to be vulnerable with the right people, you could get to it way before.
Yeah.
Because some people, people have called me up and said, I've got an event in, 19 days. I need to fill 300 seats. I'd like to hire you. I'm like, it's not going to happen. You should have asked for my help 6 months in the planning phase, and we probably would have had double the seats already, and you wouldn't even be stressed, and you wouldn't be calling people offering them $10,000 to help you sell 150 tickets or whatever it was. But it's hard.
Yeah. But you said something a second ago about the asking for help and the vulnerability piece. And people will only do that if they feel safe with someone. And I think that's something, I think that's missing in a lot of, Nashville coaches and different organizations that are out there. And you have it, people feel safe with you. They love coming to your events. They love, totally comfortable coming into your podcast studio here. I mean, because we trust you, and I shied away from this concept for about 6 years because there was someone here in town who said, you don't have what it takes to get on camera and create your own coaching business. And I was like, okay, maybe I don't. And then after a while,
did they give you a plan to do it? Or
then they offered to hire me to come in and lead a goal setting division of their coaching company. And I said, okay, how am I going to interact with people? He goes, we're to put you on camera. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you just said I don't. So it's just what that came down to is, he was just trying to knock out any potential competition, I think. And you know what? This person, I respect what this person brings because they have a lot of valuable content and valuable advice. They're multimillionaire, they've achieved, but even people who are there can have a limited mindset. But going back to the safety thing, I want people to feel safe in every way working with someone like me. And that's a need I see in the market because, we're all putting on our game faces during the day and not letting on that things are falling apart in certain areas of our business or our life and lying awake at night thinking, man, I wish someone would come and partner with me and help me figure this out.
You speak in my language. I love that perspective, and I could not agree more. And thank you for saying it was comfortable to come in here today and all that. I appreciate that. And it's funny that you're saying this because at the time we're shooting this, I have a dinner event that I'm doing Saturday, and I am partnering with Daryl Stinson on it. And he's got his retreat, and I've got this concept I've been doing. And he came to the last one. So we were talking yesterday because we're collaborating. And he said something to me that's very in line with what you just said. He said that first experience at the Beyond the Table dinner event that you did, what was the goal of that? Where did you learn that? Where did you learn to build that? And I said, well, I was going to a bunch of events. I believe that, comparison's the thief of joy, right? So I sat with myself in the sauna for 45 minutes at 4 a.m. And I said, I'm going to do something that's on my heart and in my head. And I wrote out the rules and I built the plan. So I didn't go research books or any of this stuff. And he said, I love that. I love that concept. It makes so much sense. He said, but I think you missed a piece in that experience because people feel comfortable with you. People, your vibe is great, but if they didn't know you, I don't think they would have had a great experience. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, you had brought people upstairs in the private residence. They didn't really know what they were getting into. You brought them into a room, you closed the door, and you did this experience. He said, you wanted to create a safe space. The experience was supposed to have people shake it out, leave all the stress at home, and get in the right mindset. But you brought them into a closed space and closed the door, and you didn't tell them what you were about to do, and you had them jumping on a trampoline to shake out the nerves, and most people don't jump on trampolines, Jim. So what you did was the opposite, unless it was someone that was really comfortable with you and had a lot of trust. And I said, you know what? I thought back, and I was like, yeah, most people enjoyed it. So in my mind, I thought everybody enjoyed it, but there was 4 or 5 people that I didn't really know that well.
Yeah.
That just wanted to get off the trampoline really quick. Right? So it was something in my mind where I'm doing it because I want people to feel safe as they go into this new space. Mm-hmm. But my brand, my vibe always doesn't come across if you don't know me, because there was 4 or 5 people. There was actually 3 people that I never even met before.
Yeah.
So you're saying these safe spaces, how important they are. And it's funny, I just was being coached by Daryl because we're collaborating. He's like, let's do this and spin this and do that. And I'm like, I'm open to anything, right? I want to make it best for the audience.
Right.
So it was just like those little micro tweaks that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. I mean,
It's crazy
we're
you're
being
saying
tweaked
that.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like if it's a constant journey of learning and
Totally.
yeah.
Tell me more about the 317 Mastermind, because I love the 317 concept.
Thank you. Thanks so much. So, well, a couple of years ago, I started seeing the number 317 everywhere. It was really weird. Some friends encouraged me to look in the Bible and see if I could find some scripture that jumped out at me. And I did. I found 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 17, 317, which basically says, stop trying to be perfect. You are fully equipped and perfectly prepared to do the good work that's right there in front of you. And I was like,
No way.
yeah.
What?
I was like, ooh, okay, I think I found it. This is it. And that's the last thing entrepreneurs feel is fully equipped and perfectly prepared. We think we should be, but we're not. So how do we get there? And at the time I was closing out another business model that wasn't working out for me. And I think it's because I knew I had this 317 thing, being laid on my heart and spirit, and it was making room for this.
Yeah.
So I decided to launch 317 in April. I pitched it last April in 2024 to 23 business owners. I would say half of them in the room know, like, and trust me. The other half I didn't even know. I'd met for the first time on that day. And so I said, we're going to start this thing messy. It's going to be 3 hours once a month. You're going to have 7 CEOs around you to workshop through a topic that you want input and feedback on. And it's going to be messy because I don't know what else we're going to do. And if you're okay with messy, come on board. And so 12 people signed up that month. So we started it in May of last year and now have 3 chapters or 3 groups around Nashville and looking to build more, of course. But, it's really just kind of putting that puzzle together of business owners who are non-competing and kind of complement each other. And we meet once a month for 3 hours. Everybody brings a resource to share and a topic that they want help with. And they get time to work on their business and walk away with a plan. And then we go to lunch.
I love that. I love that. So 3
hours.
3 hours.
Yep,
once a month. 7 perspectives.
Smart people over 7 perspectives.
Phew, yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So
what's the transformation been like? I bet you some people are like,
yeah.
I mean, you have 7 high-level profile people, high-level thinkers, understanding the business world in different aspects, not competing with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come in and they help you solve a problem that they're stumped on.
Yeah.
That's a true mastermind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We see all these variations of it these days. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. There are book studies that are called masterminds. There are networking groups that call themselves masterminds. There's all different, I think the thing that people need to think about is, what are you looking for? Are you looking for someone to help you hold yourself accountable, help you get focused, make a plan, work the plan? Are you looking for, are you growing, building and hiring people? Are you looking to exit and, wondering what to do? Are you looking to expand your company and have multiple locations? Are you looking for help with cash flow? Are you just looking for a community? Are you looking to become a better leader? Those are the reasons, I think, like thinking about all the people that are in the groups now. Those are the topics that come up. How can I be a better leader? How can I save time, make more money, and have more energy? Those are the common themes.
Energy.
Yeah.
So important. So important.
Yeah.
I would put energy over time.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have the energy, things take longer, or they don't get done, or I do the feedback loop in my brain and I think about them until they get done.
Yes. That's good. I love that. I like that. Yeah. So every meeting has 3 parts. Share business updates. What's going on in your business. Do you have new hires? Do you have new offerings? How's your revenue? Anything that they want to share. And that helps us understand each other's businesses better. And then the second thing is everybody brings a valuable resource to share. And that's not necessarily a book or a podcast, but it could be an event or a conference coming up or a key introduction that everyone in the group needs to meet, or, it can be anything. It can be a life hack. And then we go into the hot seat portion, which is the bulk of the meetings. And that's where people, will say, okay, we might have 3 or 4 people who have a burning topic that they want help with. It could be an issue, a project, an opportunity. It could be, I need to get to the bottom of something. It could be, help me hold myself accountable to get this done because we're putting it off. And that's what we do.
It's so important in the success, I think, of anybody who wants to grow, learn, and get better, is having those people around them that care for them in that way. And it's got to be the right people. Like, that's why I love your CEO level, high thinkers, because I've gotten into some groups and some of the conversations are like, oh, I want to launch a product. Like, I don't know what to launch. And I'm like, that's not the conversations that I want to be in. Right. Not because they don't deserve a space or a place.
Right.
But that's not what was marketed to me.
Yes.
So I love how you're up front in the actual name, the 7. You're telling people right up front that this is what you're going to get and you're delivering it. I mean, it sounds like you've got some pretty high profile people in there too.
Yeah, they're great. And like for people who are in that startup mode, that's an opportunity to work one-on-one with a coach, whether it's me or somebody else. The goal is to get people with who's going to serve them best. And that's why we've grown slowly, because dialing in 317 over the past year and exactly what we do and who we want to be a part of the community is, it is a top priority.
It's so smart and vulnerable and real and honest for you to say that. And I just appreciate that, because a lot of people come on the podcast or I watch other podcasts and it's speed. And I did this in 30 days. And I've been victim of that, right? I put out content saying how we made $28,000 in 16 days from startup to sales.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to hear, like, you're looking at it at every detail. You're moving slowly. You're talking to the members. You're understanding exactly who you want in the room. And you're not just letting anybody in. Like, that's admirable.
Yeah.
Because you're not just chasing the random person who wants to jump in a group to just come in and probably sell everybody, because that's not what the group is. The group is sharing and helping and hot seating. And I admire it. And I think I just hear too much of the other side. So thank you for just being honest and real about the fact that you're like, we're doing this slow and we're doing it with detail and I'm looking into all this and we're getting all this feedback. Like, I think that's how business needs to be if you want to sustain and have it be successful.
Yeah.
And we live in that fast world.
Yeah. I remember taking a course through Stu McLaren, if you've ever heard of Stu.
Yeah. How do you know Stu?
Well, I was and still am a big Amy Porterfield fan.
Okay.
Who now lives in Nashville, and I'd love to meet her, but that's not topic. Anyways, and so then I started watching. I noticed she was doing something with Stu, and so then I did the whole membership program thing with him. And I remember him saying that people want 2 things. They want to get results and they want to have fun. Like, make it a great experience for them. And I have trouble with the fun part because I just want to get down to business and do shit. And do stuff.
Yeah.
But so the members have been great helping me have a good balance. So like, we'll do a quarterly all member thing at Topgolf. We just had one last week and it was so much fun.
It's funny because I think we're similar in that way, where so like we were talking about video, right? And that person, whatever. But when I started getting on video in 2021, like, people are like, dude, you're way too serious. Like, you look mad. And I'm like, I'm actually happy. And they're like, I'm just serious. We're talking about serious stuff. And like, smile more. Like, you need to smile. And I was like, but my brain's going a mile a minute. And it's funny because, yes, people are like you and me, right? It's like, okay, we're here. We've got 60 minutes. I want to squeeze the juice. I don't want to play around. Right. This is business. This is money. I need money to support my family. My family is my number one thing. This is an important component. Let's go. Like, I want to go. But not everybody's in that moment, that time, that season, that hour. Some people need the warm up. Some people need the fun. Some people want that experience. And then what I realized out of all that too is it's memorable.
Right.
So if my goal is to teach you something that you remember and use, right? I don't want to just tell you concept or theory. Like, I want you to actually use it and take action. And I think you're very much like this too.
Yes.
Like, I need to make it memorable through a fun experience, or so that way you're involved in it and you want to be part of it
Yeah.
and it sticks.
Yeah.
Because we can go into the seriousness and then you can do it and fall off, but like you're going to remember that moment, that mastermind, that top
Right.
golf, those conversations that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't always need to be like in that
Yeah.
box or that, you know.
But that's great emotional intelligence. Like whoever told you to smile more, you know, I remember my daughter telling me, Mom, you've got RBF. I'm like, what's RBF? Resting bitch face. I'm like, what? And then I clicked what I just, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't take much to figure out what that means. I was like, oh my gosh, I do. And then I looked at myself in the mirror and I definitely have it. I installed like a big mirror in my office. I was a school principal at the time, and I'm sure everybody thought I was stuck on myself and conceited because I had this mirror. But it was to check myself, you know, like before I wrecked myself, as they say. And just like,
Totally.
whether I was on the phone with somebody or face to face with an employee or whatnot. Yeah. So
It's
emotional intelligence.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I am with you. And I got to remind myself too, like I've done it too from stage where I've told a story where I've dropped deep into my heart and I've felt that emotion because I should. It's a real story. It's me. It's where I want to go in my speaking. So, like I remember I couldn't transition out of it. So the rest of the speech was like I was in that like sad, just like very stern, stoic look. And I remember my wife, she was like, what was that face you were doing? Like after I was like, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're not going to use that footage. And people still enjoyed the speech, but like she knew because she knew me.
Right.
And she was like, what happened? That
Yeah.
face. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's those little tweaks
Yeah.
where it's like, if I want people to receive it at the highest level, I want to accommodate that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So teaching kids, your education background, all that, understanding exactly how people absorb and take in information. How is it different teaching adults compared to children in your education background?
Well, I think this is part of the shift that needs to be made too, is, you know, like the old way of teaching is talking to lecturing basically. And it doesn't really work, which is part of why our system is kind of a flop right now. Well, I mean, not saying there aren't great schools and things going on. I think both learn from doing. Like showing someone how to do something and doing it alongside them and then guiding them to do it independently. Everyone wants that. But I think as adults, it's more like it's more learning about different personality styles and different communication styles. You know, if you've got someone who just wants the bullet points, that's how they need it delivered. They don't need all the backstory. They don't need the chit chat, small talk. Just, you know, give me the baby. They don't want the labor pains. And then if you've got someone who wants to have fun doing it, you've got to weave in those fun experiences too. They want to learn, but they want to have fun doing it. And then you've got the people who are more like supportive and all about the team and making sure everybody else is okay. So they've got to feel very safe learning or doing something risky. And then you've got the conscientious questioning type. They do want the details. They want the fine print, the stats to back it up, and evidence that it actually works.
You're 100% correct. I've experienced it very similar.
Which one are you?
I'm investigative. So I'm not just going to believe what you say, or if you throw a stat up and your whole training's on that stat, I'm going to go, can you send me the report for the stats? Because I've seen so much data manipulated.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of trust around numbers without actually validating.
Yeah.
And I just say that because I've just experienced that. Anytime a number, it's always inflated.
Yes.
Right? And I've seen it on every level. And it's fine, right? It's not like people are saying, oh, I made $1 million and I made 1,000. But that person who made, and I do it, right? Like my first business made 980,000. I tell people I made just under $1 million. There's 20K under $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? But so
Actual.
I want to investigate it. I think for me, and then where I am right now, I want it quick in the bullets. And I have to change a lot of that in what I do because not everybody's like that, as you just said.
Right.
I think growing up in Boston, moving fast,
Yeah.
you know, like, let's go. And my friend from New York, we do the same thing. Like even I'm like, we're gonna go to the store to grab something, and he's like, let's go. And I'm like, I'm moving. He's like, let's go. And we're doing it because we're joking with each other because we're both move fast. But I know he feels it similar living in Nashville, because there's a lot of people who want to take their time and they want
Yes.
to get all the information. So it's just interesting to when you really look at those different types of people.
Well, and there's so much noise in both of our industries. There's a coach on every corner, or a, podcast, or a marketing consultant on every corner.
Yep.
So how can we help them sift through that? And how do we stand out?
I think too, like you had said earlier, it's about impact is about getting them what they want or what they need.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to take the role of getting them to where they want or what they need, wouldn't it make the most sense to deliver and, like you said earlier, communicate on how they best receive it?
Yeah.
And we've got to know that stuff about people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we have to ask ourselves too, like, what kind of person do I need to become, professionally? And what kind of person do I want to become in my personal life too? So, I like to be known as someone who help people get something they needed. And whether it's an introduction or a connection or passing them off to, an article, or, something useful that like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Just be a good person.
Totally. Be consistent, show up, love on people.
Yes. That's what it comes down to.
All right, last question for you before we wrap up. What do you want to leave the listeners or the next podcast guest that comes in here with? I know it's a deep question, so I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. But one of the things that I wanted to start doing at the end of the podcast is really get our guests to think about what's important to them, so they can not only leave it in the studio, we'll have you write it down too, for the next guest, but also the audience. So does anything come to mind that you might have wished someone had told you, or you're in a season right now where this one thing has helped so many people, or it's helped you a ton? Anything you can leave for the...
Yeah, I think what I would say is, okay, I'm going to tell you a story. So I have these sandals in my bedroom that are on top of the dresser, and they are like 30 years old, and I can't throw them away. And they're cracked. They look disgusting. And they have little rhinestones on them. But I bought them at Kmart like 30 years ago when my daughter was little. And the reason I don't throw those sandals away, is because they are a reminder that I'm the only one. So you're the only one that has walked in your shoes. Those are your shoes. And you have a purpose here. And that purpose can change. You might be working on one project now. In a couple of years, your business may evolve into something else. But you are the one assigned to those shoes, to your dream. And you're the one who's walked the walk. And all your life experiences contributed to you where you are today. And just hang on to your dream of where you're going, and find people who can help you get to your next level, because they're just sitting there waiting for someone like you to come up and ask them, hey, can you mentor me? That's my advice.
Boom. I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for being here today. We appreciate it. And
Thank you.
We'll see you on
Thanks
the
for
next
having
one.
me.
We'll have you back.
I'd love to. Thanks, Jim.